Recording in progress.
Hello, beautiful souls. Thanks for joining for another episode of Van Life Dreamers Q&A. So I'll put in the chat if you have questions, reach out, DM me if I haven't covered anything. But today I'm just going to go over some impressive statistics about the van life. My name is Vanessa Donaldson and I am your nomadic bestie. So if you're considering doing the van life and just wondering what it's all about, you're curious, you're on the fence, you see vans driving around on the road and you're like, I want to join that community. I am here to help you through that process. So, I'm going to be talking about some just basic statistics, facts, and trends that are going on with the van life community. And oh, by the way, I just read today, where are we in November of 2023, that the van life prices or RV prices are going down. You know, they really spiked high during the pandemic when everybody was on lockdown. And that's kind of when we started our van life experience a few years ago. You know, when the world went on lockdown, they said, don't leave your house, put your mask on, stay isolated. My husband and I were just at that season where we were kids out of the house. We were ready to go explore nature and get out there. He's 22-year Marine Corps veteran, and we just want to get out there and get into nature. So having the government or someone tell us like you're on lockdown, that just kind of just spurred us more further into the abyss. So we happened to find a used Sprinter van like a couple months prior. We rented out our house in California and just hit the road, turned over the keys to the tenants, said bye. So that's kind of how that happened. And then the RV sales kind of spiked. Like everybody was trying to get off grid. It was just crazy. Boats and RVs were just getting totally sold at higher than normal price value because the demand was so high. And so, from what I've been reading now, the pricing is actually starting to, what did one person write something about? Come back to earth. So, hopefully, it can be in your budget if this is something you want to explore. And I do say also, try before you buy. So if you're not quite sure it's for you, just rent a camper for the weekend. Go tent camping with family, friends, by yourself in nature, whatever, and see how it feels. So it's not for everybody. It's got its niche, but hopefully these statistics will help you sway with your decision on whether you want to move forward or not. And that's what I'm here for. So impressive van life stats, facts, and trends. Let's see what we have here. Okay, general van life stats and facts. 51% of van lifers reside in their vans full time. I did not know this. That's like half the population of van life, 51%. So if you're having these crazy thoughts about living in your van, you are not alone. 50% are doing this. So, number two, only 36% of van lifers live alone. Most, 44%, live with one other person. So, as for myself, I live mainly with my spouse, my retired Marine, and our two old pups. But plenty of solo female lifers out there. We've run into them at campgrounds, and they are just an amazing tribe. They have meetups and WhatsApp groups and all that, so I can help you get connected with that too. If you are a single female that wants to do the van life, there are options for you. Number three, 43% of van lifers live in cargo vans, and 18% live in passenger vans. Only 13% live in iconic Volkswagen like hippie van, and 6% live in RVs. So I guess I'm more of like a passenger van. We're a Sprinter van. So passenger van slash RV. I say van life a lot. So people do think I'm in that Volkswagen hippie van. And then they see us rolling up or they see me on line with the van and they're like, oh, we thought you're like in a hippie van. So whatever you want to call it. I say just get out there. Whatever you can make work in your budget, just get out there. Number four, the most common way to bathe, 28% say this is by utilizing a gym membership. So I even know of a gym membership that is like transferable, so you can use it like going around cross country to different gyms. They have these partnerships, which is really cool. The second most common, 21%, is with a built-in van shower. So yeah, there's yeah, some have built-in van showers. There's showers that you can maybe even hook up and bathe outside your van, which is very cool because that's what we do a lot in like Florida and warm places. Why shower inside if you can just go swimming in the ocean and then rinse off the salt water in like 10 minutes, And with your bathing suit on, if you're in a more public place, if you're remote, then hey, take it all off. And maybe if you're somewhere in town, you can not in town, but close to a town, you can actually drive off and go have dinner or happy hour. I have gone quicker, um, gotten ready more quickly in a van than at home sometimes. Like you go out, you come back home from a beach, you shower, you get distracted with something, and then like 2 hours later, you're late to the happy hour and you've missed all of the happy hour prices and you're back to the regular prices. The van life, you will be like moving a lot quicker. You're trying to conserve that water because that shower container you have is only so many gallons. So it's going to be a zip, zip in and out shower. And yeah, you'll be like a first in line at happy hour because you're like, oh my gosh, my shower was 10 minutes. You've got your clothes hanging in your little closet in the van and off you go. So yeah. So bathing, that's a real popular one, but you can do that either gyms or, attach it right there to your van. Gym memberships are cool too if you want to pay that membership. But a side note, if you want to exercise too, that's part of being in nature. Like go for a hike, go walk along a stream, get all the five senses going. There's so many ways to work out. Find a picnic table and do some squats and lunges and step up on the picnic table. So there's ways you can turn your gym, right into your outdoor nature experience as well. But I digress. We're talking about bathing now. So, number five, 39% of van lifers use public restrooms, while 35% have a built in van toilet. So, that's good to know. And the more you do the van life, the more you'll know places to pull in for public restrooms. If you've got a little porta potty and you just don't want to sit on that, or you're in a real moderate built out van, you don't even have a toilet. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for public restrooms. And then there's built-in van toilets. Some people do composting toilets too. So if they want to go all organic, not quite there yet. Just done a little research on it, talked to people. It just has that odor which is just hard to get used to probably. And we live in the van for like 5 to 8 months at a time if we're traveling through, Mexico for summer, hanging on beaches, or we just did Canada and Alaska for like 5 months. So yeah, I don't want to be smelling my toilet where I'm cooking my food and sleeping and everything. So sorry, not working for me, but for someone else can work. Again, options. Van life demographics. So in 2019, the US Census Bureau estimated that over 140,000 are living in vehicles such as vans, RVs, and boats. 140,000 people. They're getting out there. And then in a 2020 survey, the majority of the people who would consider van life were millennials. 31% were aged 35 to 44. 29% are, what is it? 25 years to 34 years old. So, hey, where's my demographic? So, yeah, we run into a lot of millennials doing this. They're just like, they're not set on that 9 to 5 job, have that loyalty for one company for like 20 years or then get the boot or get laid off. Like they are out there living their lives, they're exploring, they're doing it while they're young, while they can, move, while they're agile, their heart rates not having any conditions like where I live in Florida now, we hear ambulances all the time. I mean, the demographic is like, I don't know, 60, 70%, 70-year-old and up. So a lot more trips to the hospital for, emergencies and stuff. So I also interviewed my mom, who's 84 years old. She did a little van life trip with us to Canada and Alaska. And that was her advice at the end, like, get out there and do this while you're younger. So something to consider instead of when you're older. But it does take planning, it does take a budget, and you want to have to figure out how you're going to pay your bills. So don't just get out there and, be almost like on a homeless end of things when it becomes like devastating. So but we can talk about all that when if I'm working with you. So but yeah, 35 to 40, where are so I'm in my 50s. Doesn't have really a lot of stuff like that, but we do see a lot of retired military and just retirees in campgrounds. So if we're staying in a campground, but usually we're boondocking. We like to get off grid. So all right, a little over half, so 56% of van lifers estimate they spend between 101 and $300 on gas every month, whereas 27% spend over $300 in gas each month, and 70% spend under $100. So there's a little money factor. I get that a lot with especially the millennials, like, how much are you paying to do this thing? So there's your budget kind of. So, based on how your shopping experience is, you're going to be buying less. It's a smaller fridge. You might have a little added cooler like we do because we're doing a lot of fishing and hunting. So we need a little more fish or a little space to gather our meat. and our fish. So we put that on the ice chest. And that's something to consider, your budget. So start planning, preparing, think about it. There's certain fruits and veggies that will last longer during the van life than others. So you'll learn what to buy more that will, have a little more sustainability. So it's not rotting quickly and you end up throwing it away. Who wants to buy food and throw it away? No. So number nine. Surprisingly, 30% of the van lifers spend $0 on campsites each month. Only 4% spend more than $300 on campsites per month. So that sounds like a lot of people are doing boondocking, like my husband and I. We don't want to spend money on campsites if we have that option to find some nature spot nearby. So we're always looking for mountaintop views, rivers, lakes, a little off the road so you don't hear road noise. So the more you do the van life, the more kind of picky you get too with where you're going to go spend your time when you're settling down for, like a sunset and cooking and happy hour and just kind of easing into the evening in a very just serene space. So you want to do that and have like privacy. So it's a very different vibe if you're doing campground memberships and going from campground to campground, which like a lot of class A's, the bigger your van, the more you have to do that because it's harder to go off grid. It's harder to, just road terrain, maneuverability, turnaround radius, all that stuff affects the size of your van. So some people are just total set on, KOA, Campers of America, or whatever that acronym is, or Campendium. Like they go from campground to campground, they plan out their route, and they're, in groups. It's a culture, and they're all together. And there's usually shower rooms and a laundry facilities and a pool maybe, so that works for some people, but for my husband and me, part of why we decided to go for a sprinter van versus something large was we wanted to get more off grid. We want that privacy. I like to run around like in my sarong in the heat, something with dogs running around with just nature around us and all that privacy. So that's what we go for. All right, about 4% of van lifers are retired and 9% are unemployed. So I guess I'm in the 4% zone. I mean, we kind of are retired, but not. We're property managers. We run a couple properties where we rent our homes as Airbnb so we can, make money when we get on the road. We're all about entrepreneurial type businesses. So find something that you can do remotely and go for it. Explore that. Up in the top right, it says your pets accompany about 40% of van lifers. So that's us. We've got the little pug and chihuahua you saw on the first slide, and they're everywhere with us. So we don't want to be one going to a hotel where it says not pet friendly. What are we going to do with our dogs? That's not going to work. And we also don't want to be leaving them in a kennel for long periods of time. They benefit from the van life as much as we do. I mean, they're like 15-year-old pups. Their hind legs aren't moving as well. They're dragging, they're stiff, just like us growing older, but they get out there in nature and they're chasing squirrels and they're just breathing fresh air. They're sniffing around. There's like something new to sniff at every time the van slide door opens. So it actually keeps them kind of more young and have that vitality too. But yes, we are van life campers with our pets. So that's a whole other world that I can walk you through. 79% of van lifers convert their vans themselves. I get a lot of clients who talk about doing van conversions. So there you go. You're not alone. About almost 80% are doing this. 50% of van lifers sleep in either BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, or National Forest grasslands. 50%. Hey, that's us. We made that cut. We love our BLM land and National Forest Service roads. Like so much nature out there and people are pretty respectful. They like to give each other space. So if you're on that road, just, etiquette, courtesy tip, don't just roll right up to another van and park right next to them. Like we're all out there in nature because we want to have space. So give as much space and distance as you can without, ending up in a ravine or getting stuck in sand or whatever. So finally, states with the most van lifers include California, Colorado, Florida, Oregon, and Washington. So we have a home in California, but we've hardly explored California because we were still active duty military when we were there. So we were not gone on the weekends exploring nature as much. We did do Joshua Tree National Park this past time when we were coming back from Canada and Alaska, and that was amazing. That's like in our top five. And we've been doing this for like 5 years now. So Joshua Tree, highly recommend. Just beauty in nature with rock formations, the sunsets, the different plants, the cactuses, the Joshua tree. I thought it was gonna be like just this boring desert, but it's like a desert that was alive. And they have some first come, first serve campgrounds too there, which is cool because we don't plan very far ahead. We don't book like a year out where we're going. No, we are totally on the fly. So that's part of the beauty of the freedom of movement and just making things up as they go. So they did have some first come, first serve campgrounds there, which was cool, and they were not full. So you could just pull up and park and just enjoy. It was awesome. And of course, we're in Florida now, so I've got this huge Florida map, and we're slowly making our way through the state parks, and it's amazing. Florida has a bunch of different variety of land land formation, just different vegetation all the way from the Panhandle, like northern, almost by the Alabama border, and up north, all the way down to Key West. So very different genre of campgrounds, different animals you can look at. Some places are bird watching spots, the manatees, the ocean, all kinds of stuff. So loving doing our van life in Florida. Facts. So how many people are living the van life? The number of van lifers in the US, just for the US, estimated over 3 million, and that's in mid 2022. So 3 million, hello. What are you waiting for if you're on the fence? Like, you might want to give this a try. You are not alone. Another fact, is van life a popular trend? Yes, it's considered a popular trend. It's predominantly displayed on social media, so you can see it like myself here talking about it. I've got a little YouTube. I put stuff up on there. I've got an Instagram at Van Life Vanessa. You can join. So all kinds of articles you can be reading. So 12.4 million hashtag what's that van life tags. So people are curious about this lifestyle, and you can be a part of it too if you're interested. What is converting a van like? So it's going to be a different process for everybody. It's like a blank slate, a blank canvas if you're an artist, and what paint brushes are you going to use and what colors and what type of paint medium. So who, who and how many people are living in the van? That's going to be a big part of the conversion. Is it just you alone, solo? Are you with a spouse? Are there some pets involved? Big dogs, small dogs, cats? Are you traveling like homeschooling and traveling with children? We do run into families that are just totally educating their children on the road and doing homeschooling, which is amazing. The experience these kids get, they have like their books become live video, live experience. They're not just reading in the book. They're like, if they're reading about history in Pennsylvania or Gettysburg or something, they drive right there and they go to the museum, they go on the battlefield and they're experiencing it. So what a way to raise your family. I'm sure there's a lot of, we're doing this in the retirement season, so I know there's probably a lot of headaches too with little kids and um, all the messes and diaper changes and all that going on in a tiny van, tiny space. So kudos to those doing that. I'm doing it on the other side with our kids out of the house, but kudos to those who are doing it with the babies while they're doing the van life themselves. So where? Well, that has a lot to do with your conversions as well. Where you're going to plan to live. Is it going to be in warm tropical places? Or are you going to be more north? Are you going to be in Alaska where it gets colder? Or are you going to be places where in the winter where you have to winterize your vehicle? So, and then money. How much? What is that? How much luxury they desire? Like how much are you going to spend on converting? Are you going for the basics? Do you have a little larger budget where you can like bling things up a little more? So all these things will play into the factor for converting a van. So more stuff on van conversion. I get this a lot, so I did a little more research on it. The cost of a van conversion can range anywhere from 1,000 to over 40,000. So you can see the gap here. Like it's all what works in your budget. Totally doable, whatever works for you. Some people choose to have a van professionally converted, but most van lifers convert it themselves and attempt to save the cost. So conversions can take anywhere from a few months to over a year. So plan that factor in, how soon you want to get out there and get out into nature and be exploring. You got to backtrack and plan in that conversion time if you plan to convert a van. Do van lifers travel alone or with other people? So most travel with at least one other person. There's one, and sometimes more, but only about 36% are on their own. So it does happen. So whatever works in your world, it's all good. And finally, if you want to know more about the van life,
Mhm.
you can reach out to me. I can help you dream your way to your own new reality. And yeah, what kind of window view do you want to have? Oh, this picture's got my window in the back. So you can see here the window when I'm looking out from our full-size bed when it's pulled out and when we go to sleep at night and in the morning, we're usually waking up with like this kind of scenery. So this is somewhere in Florida. You can tell with all the palm trees. And so, yeah, what kind of window view do you want to have, in your next season? My phone number's here. You can reach out, send me a text, and just say, like van lifer, van life enthusiast, 808-256-8672. And my email's on there as well, info@resetwithvanessa.com. And if you're interested in consulting, I will be your nomadic bestie and walk you through that whole process from RV shopping. It's overwhelming. There's so much out there. So why not have someone guide you? You can do it all yourself if you want, definitely. But if you want help and move a little quicker to get out there sooner, then you might want to um, have someone like myself be your guide. So I just leave you with this. What path do you want to take? What's your next step? You can either abandon and just say, I'm going to do it myself, or not at all. I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not doing this. Or you can do it yourself, or you can commit and take the fast track with myself, Vanessa Donaldson, your nomadic bestie. And what you can do is have an annual membership with me. So I will be available for you to go through all the different phases of your van life experience at my website, resetwithvanessa.com. You will see all of the membership benefits you get. So, however you want to proceed, I wish you luck with your decision, and I hope to see you joining our van life community if you are on the fence and just need someone to hold your hand a little more to get over it. So, take care and remember to charge your soul, not just your cell phone. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.